Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Here we are with the remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students. Hello students, I, Ms. Radhika Yadav, teaching at Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College, here again with you, dealing with the History Chapter 1, the Indian Subcontinent and History. The Indian subcontinent is made up of 7 countries. They are India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. The geography of the Indian subcontinent is extremely diverse. This landmass is home to soaring mountains, fertile plains and mighty rivers. So students, here we saw the geography of the Indian subcontinent. Now let's relate the same with the Indian subcontinent and history. From the beginning, there is a close relationship between man and environment. The changes in the lifestyle of the early man and his technology were related to the changes in his surroundings. The history of human civilization, from the stone to the agricultural civilization that flourished on the banks of rivers. Now, we saw the geography. Here we'll see the history of the Indian subcontinent. First, let's see what is history. So students, history is a coherent account of the significant past events in the progress of human culture. Time, place, society and individuals are the 4 major pillars of history. Of these 4 components, place is related to geography or geographical conditions. In this sense, history and geography are inseparable. History is influenced by geographical conditions in many ways. Our diet, clothing, housing, occupation, in fact, all human life in any region depends to a large extent on its geographical characteristics. Characteristics are nothing but the features. The climate, rainfall, agriculture produce, flora and fauna of the region where we live are the sources of our livelihood. The lifestyles and culture of a region develops with their support. Human settlements have flourished wherever the means of living are plentiful. So here we can see the types of houses. Over a period of time, these settlements develop further into villages and towns. But sometimes reasons like the degradation of the environment, drought, invasions, etc. lead to the scarcity of those means. People are forced to leave their settlements, villages and towns become deserted. We see many such instances in history. Thus, we see that there is a very close relation between history and geography. Now here we have geographical features of India. Our country, India, extends far and wide. At its north lie the Himalayas, to the east the Bay of Bengal, to the west the Arabian Sea, and to the south the Indian Ocean. Except for the islands of Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep, the rest of the country is contiguous. Contiguous meaning is next to each other. We have to take into account this region, henceforth referred to as Ancient India. Before 1947, today's Pakistan and Bangladesh were also a part of India. The following regions are seen to be important when we look at the course of Indian history. First, the Himalayas. Second, the plains of Sindhu Ganga Brahmaputra rivers. Third, the Thar Desert. Fourth, the Deccan Plateau. Fifth, the coastal regions. The islands in the seas. First, we'll see over here the Himalayas. The Hindu Kush and Himalayan ranges have created an impenetrable wall on the northern sides of the Indian subcontinent. This wall has separated the Indian subcontinent from the deserts of Central Asia. However, there is a land route through the Khyber and Bolan passes in the Hindu Kush mountain. The trade route from China passed through Central Asia and reached Arabia. It is known as the Silk Route or Silk Road because silk was the main commodity exported to the Western countries using this road. The route through the passes was used by many foreign invaders to enter ancient India. Many foreign travelers also came to India by this route. Next we have the plains of Sindhu Ganga Brahmaputra. This region consists of the basins of the three big rivers Sindhu, Ganga, Brahmaputra and their tributaries. This region extends from Sindh Punjab in the west to the present-day Bangladesh in the east. It was in the region that the earliest Indian civilization of Harappa and the later states and empires of ancient India emerged. Next we have the Thar Desert. The Thar Desert spreads across Rajasthan, Haryana and some parts of Gujarat. A part of the desert lies in today's Pakistan. The desert has the Satluj River to its north, the Aravalli mountain range to its east, the Rann of Kutch to its south, and the Indus, that is Sindhu River, to its west. The Ghaggar River that originates in Himachal Pradesh reaches the Thar Desert. It is known as Hakra in Pakistan. Its course in Rajasthan and Pakistan has now dried up. Many sites of the Harappan civilization are situated along the now dry course of the river. Next we have the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is an area between two mountain ranges in the southern India. The region between the east and the west coast of India tapers off to the south. This region has the Arabian Sea to its west, the Indian Ocean to its south, and the Bay of Bengal to its east. A region thus bound by the sea or three sides is called peninsula. Again, I repeat, a region thus bound by the sea on three sides is called peninsula. A major part of the Indian peninsula is occupied by the Deccan Plateau. The mountain ranges of the Vindhya and Satpura are located to the north of the Deccan Plateau. The Sahyadri mountain ranges are to its west. They are also known as the Western Ghats. To the west of the Sahyadri is the coastal region of Konkan and Malabar. The mountains on the eastern sides of the Deccan Plateau are known as the Eastern Ghats. Deccan Plateau has fertile land where many post-Harappan agrarian cultures flourished. Deccan Plateau was a part of the Maurya Empire, the largest in ancient India. After the decline of the Maurya Empire too, several other kingdoms and smaller empires continued to flourish in this region. Next we have the coastal regions. From the time of Harappan civilization, ancient India had trade relations with the western countries. This trade was carried on by sea. Therefore, India had developed contact and interaction with foreign cultures and people of the seaports. Later on, land routes came to be used for trade transport. Next we have the islands in the sea. Andaman and Nicobar are the Indian islands in the Bay of Bengal. Lakshadweep is a group of Indian islands in the Arabian Sea. The location of these islands may have been important in ancient sea trade. The manuscript Periplus of the Erythraean Sea or Handbook of the Red Sea makes a mention of Indian islands. It has been written by unknown Greek seller. The Indian subcontinent. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are in today's Pakistan. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka and India together forms the region known as South Asia. Considering the expanse and significance of India in this region, it is also known as the Indian subcontinent. The Harappan civilization had spread mainly in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. China and Myanmar our neighboring countries are not a part of South Asia or the Indian subcontinent. However, they had cultural and trade relations with ancient India. They have an important place in the study of ancient Indian history. Thank you.